A Grand Prix horse is literally built from the ground up. Before we teach them all of these movements, we have to build a connection with the mind. This is where it all begins. Today, I want to take these 3 young horses and put them through some foundational tests. I want to work with them on the ground and kind of evaluate where they are mentally. For me in the training, if we can engage with the mind, then we have the foundation that we can use to teach them. If we don't have the mind, we're kind of screwed. Prioritizing mental engagement is the foundation for everything else. Once we have their attention, we can direct it. All right, let's start out with the sweetheart of the bunch, Empress. Again, she's just a 3-year-old, and this is where a lot of my training just starts. So if you think about it, the groundwork is more familiar to the horses in a certain way because it's closer to what they're used to with the other horses, with their herd. And there's 2 things that I want to try to establish with the horse, and that is that they respect my space and that they respect the lead rope. If I have those 2 things, then I have a foundation for communicating with them. So, oh, so good, there's a change. Now, contrary to what a lot of people think of when they use the flag, I like using the flag because it helps give me a way to establish space without having to use force or pressure or the lead rope, something like that. So I can use a little bit the respect, the self-preservation they have from the back to establish an understanding, a comprehension around my space bubble. Look how sweet she is. And what she needs to learn is that I want you to be respectful of my area, my space, and respectful of the lead rope. Okay, so I might try in here, see if I can get her to back up a little bit. There, good. Good, see if I can get her to back up a little bit. That's okay. Oh, oh. There. There. And one really interesting thing here that sometimes differs than my dressage work or my lunging work is I want to get attention with her looking at me. If I want to figure out where the mind is. Right now she's looking past over here, right? So I'm very in tune with that. Now I'm not going to be a control freak about it. You have to focus on me all the time. But I do want to be aware of those moments. There. 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 Good. Don't crowd me. Don't crowd me. There, like this. Now I have respect of the space and the mind in tune with me. No, this is my space. Good. So when I establish my space bubble, then she tries to leave sometimes. And I want to be able to articulate to her, hey, let's stay here. There, she licks her lips. Let's stay here mentally, respect my space, but don't leave at the same time. That's kind of what I'm after. What's interesting is if we're lunging, sometimes they just get where they're mentally kind of checked out. And like I said at the beginning, my ability to engage with the horse mentally provides a foundation with which then I can teach her things. Oh, you're so sweet. You're so sweet. That's all I need. Okay, let's bring her up here. And again, I feel like she's gonna push on me. When I stop, she's gonna push past me a little bit. There, there, pretty good. Now can you back up? That's a little harder for her. Very common, very typical with a young horse. Traditionally, they think if I'm gonna back up, that's a little bit weird. I might as well just turn and leave. Can you give me a little space? There. Good. Really good. You see her process, her blinking. I watch their facial expressions, their blinking, their breathing, their rise and fall of the tension. And it's all done with feel, right? So I'm not robotic about it. If she comes in to me for support, sometimes that's okay. Okay, now I'll send her around me. I'll say, let's go there. Yeah, she's very conscious, very feeling of me. Good, good. Going around. Now I'm saying, no, don't crowd me. There, good. That's exactly what I want that to feel like. So if you think about it, I want the horse to yield to my space, but be mentally engaged and connected to me. Yielding, hind leg under, bending through the rib cage, connecting. Yielding. If they start checking out, the shoulder falls in, they start leaning on me, the mind goes away. Empress, you're a good girl. There. So the thing that's interesting is this isn't about desensitizing. It's not about taking the flag and saying, oh, this flag doesn't mean anything. It's really working with the mind of the horse and finding a foundational way that we can connect, establish boundaries that then enable a communication to start to take place. Good. Yeah, and I can say, it's okay if you move there, but I want to be able to shape it. I want to be able to influence it. Good. Can you put the shoulder a little bit away? There. Can you bend through the rib cage? Shoulder a little bit away. Yeah, without leaving. Good. Good. Up, space, space. No, you're falling in, you're falling in. Good. There, good. That's what I need. Good. Can you go this other way? So going really tactfully, increasing until she searches. There, she's searching. She says, should I go that way? I say, yeah, that's a good idea. When I see the mind start to leave, then I start to reward. There I start to ease off. So my pressure is totally tailored to those little changes. And I'm hyper aware, like, yeah, I could just rush through that and just push her to get there. Rushing through things, suggesting or like forcing the solution on her takes away her ability to find the answer. And that's what education is about, right? So can she find that answer? Can you go there? Can you go there? Yeah, good. Good. And that's it. Like there, she moves a little bit like a 2x4. She stays really straight in the body and puts the hind leg away. I'm forgiving of that. Eventually, I want her to bend more through the rib cage. Go there. Bend in the rib cage. Better. And look at me. Nice. Good. She's such a sweetheart. Don't fall. Don't fall. Good. There. I'm hyper aware of those moments she's falling in, leaning against me, coming, cutting through, things like that. Good girl. So this establishes this very basic way of, can you respect my space? Can you respect my inputs? Can you mentally come with me? Where once you're mentally with me, then I can train you. That's really what it's about. Okay, can you go there? Good. There she finds the answer. Nice. She says, I'm not so sure about that bag. I say, you're okay. There's this boundary here. Don't fall on your shoulder. Yeah, yield that hind leg away. Good. Now come through over this way. Pressure. Good. Relief. Pressure. Pressure. Good. Pressure. Good. Yeah, let her go a little bit. Very nice. Yeah. Good. Really nice there. Okay, can you back up? It's hard for her. Yeah. She says, I'd rather just turn and leave. Yeah, good. Very good. There she licks her lips. Good. I'm happy with that. That's a good building block for today. Okay, so let's run through my 5 criteria that I wanted to evaluate. Self-preservation. You can see she has a ton of self-preservation in terms of being aware of the bag, being sensitive to it, and I don't look at that as a bad thing. That means that this horse is going to be trainable. I think that Grand Prix horses that go into a Grand Prix arena and perform, they're not void of self-preservation. They're connected to the person that they're with. And so it's not about picking a horse that is dead to the world. It's about picking a horse that you can develop a connection with and be able to support through. So in terms of self-preservation, she has a ton of self-preservation. Attentiveness. She's hyper attentive. Sometimes she's not listening to me or understanding. It's really about comprehension at this point. She's a kid, you know, she's a young horse. Curiosity, huge level of curiosity, figuring out, look at her now, right? We're talking about curiosity. She's like, what's going on over there? What's happening? Mega curiosity. I saw a big change with her today, from the beginning of the session to the end. And I don't have to overreach, you know? I don't have to try to make a 10% change or a 20% change. If I change my horse 1% today, in some ways that's more productive than overreaching and failing. That's really important. So just that tiny little change, okay, that's enough. And softness. Yeah, I think I added in softness because getting the horse to soften, to slow down, to enjoy some scratches, I think for me that's overlooked, and me personally, I've overlooked that in my training. So I'm trying really hard to incorporate more of this softness into my training. Show her your butt, good girl. Where I get, at the end of the day, I want a horse that's in tune with me, that's responsive, that's aware, that's highly trained, but I also want a horse that's soft, that wants to be here and is relaxed about it. Baloo is an interesting horse. He's hypersensitive and he's not very trusting yet, but that's to be expected. Think of his world. He came out of the field onto an airplane, like all of these different people, and it's a super vulnerable time for them, especially as just a 3-year-old. So my job with him is to establish more continuity, more stable environment where he can develop trust. And I try to do that by being really clear with him. The interesting thing in my training is, for a long time I tried to do like make the wrong thing difficult and the right thing easy, a really like reward and punishment based training way that I could teach them. And now what I try to do is just like redirect and channel the energy that is already present. Yes, there are tendencies where I'm adjusting the pressure, setting it up and letting them find it, but it's not what you do, it's how you do it. That's really important in horsemanship. And so doing everything with as much feel for the individual, for the horse, and empathy for them, that's really where it's at. So we'll test him out a little bit. We'll see, can I shape you? Can I direct you? I need you to let me in. So this is when he faces me like that, that's a vulnerability thing. So they're animals of fight or flight. If they face you and block you, or if they leave, that's fight or flight, right? They can fight me if they're facing me. Bending through the rib cage is actually quite vulnerable for them. So as much as we're focused in dressage on bending, if he lets me alongside him here, that's vulnerable. You see he's defensive of that, because if I were a lion and I were trying to eat him, I would try to get on his side and get up on his back. So we have to tell him, we're not a lion, we're not going to eat you, but can you let us in to that vulnerable place, and can you trust us? So I'm using a little bit my space to see if I can access some of those things. Good, there he goes around me. Drifting a little bit. Trying to use my pressure and find this balance point. Where am I directing my energy until he can go around? There, good. And then I'll change directions with him. Change my lead hand, send him through. Good. Send him through more. Good. Really sensitive there. You can see him there, he's drifting, he wants to leave. I'm just kind of enduring that. Don't try to fix it, don't try to pressurize it, don't try to make it more difficult. Just balance him and outlast him. And go this way. Super, good. So with him, you can really feel this draw, this pull towards the exit. He says, I want to go be with my friends. And we want to figure that out and support that. Good. I'll lead him back to the center here. Give him some scratches here. If we make the training process really positive and negative and with a lot of pressure, a lot of inputs from us, that's gonna make this generally an unpleasant place for him to be. And so if I can have this kind of energy, this slow, paced, steady, confident energy, then he can enjoy this. And if he enjoys this, he won't have to feel like he has to leave so much. I think that's really important, and that means being really patient with what we're trying to get done today. You can see the curiosity there. He's looking at the horses in the turnouts, looking over by his stall. Okay, now I'll try to shape again. Can I direct you to go there? Can I add a little input? Yeah, good, perfect, a really good step. The shoulder steps over out of the way. Now he wants to drift towards the gate. That's okay, I say, keep going. Yeah, good. Now the shoulders are away. He's bending through the rib cage. I can change my hands. Yeah, very good bend through the rib cage there. Inside hind leg reaches under the body. Come this way now. Good. Really feely there. Like, that's a really cool feeling for me. These young horses are so hypersensitive, and it's a blessing and a curse, right? As we get these older trained horses, we lose some of this sensitivity. One of my goals with the trained older horses is to preserve this seeking, yeah, good. You can make it, yeah, good. Bending, yielding, hind leg under. Wow, that's really good. No wonder he's the prodigy. Cool in that. Okay, let's test his rein back a little bit. Good. Try to do, yeah, hang there, good. Good. Yeah, good. See if he'll lick his lips here. See, look, there he licks his lips. So you can kind of predict when they go through those problems where they're like, oh, I'm not sure, and then they figure it out, and they lick their lips. That's really cool. I love seeing them process things. Good boy, that's all we need. We don't need to do more. I also think about it a little bit like this. Like, I have 8 years, 7 years before I want to do Grand Prix with this horse. So like, there's so many interactions I'll have. I can be really patient with this stuff. I don't need to get him ridden today, you know? And in trying to go fast, we mess up. And in messing up, we create trauma. And in creating trauma, we have to repair. And some of that repair, like repair of trauma, is so difficult. So by establishing a really solid foundation, that enables a really good training environment. Boy, That's all we need. All right, next up. Okay, I'm gonna try to go through these things that I wanted to evaluate. So self-preservation, this horse has insane self-preservation. You can tell by his, good. Good. Yeah, you're okay there. Let me see if I can get him supported through this where he can settle a little bit. He has a huge amount of self-preservation. A lot of this separation anxiety that he has is self-preservation based. If we redirect that, rechannel that, where we can get him trusting of us, that can transform into his superpower. So it's a little bit like a blessing and a curse. In the wrong hands, this is a mega challenge. It's super difficult. But if we provide him a foundation where he starts looking to us for security and trusting us, it'll be your superpower. It'll what will change this horse into being like the most amazing horse for you. You can trust me. Attentiveness. He's hyper attentive, but not attentive always through me. You see, he's not trusting of me yet, but you can see he's attentive there. The attention is directed elsewhere, but it's not always directed at me. So we really need to work on that part. Curiosity, hyper curious horse, aware of everything that's going on. Just we want to redirect it through me, through what I'm asking him. A change. Let's see if we can work on that change and get even more attention through me with the change, and softness. He needs to soften. There's so much self-preservation that we're not really to the softening point yet. Let's see if we can get there. So give him a little bit of an opportunity here to soften. Look, there he licks his lips. They're starting to soften, right? So we don't need to do too much. There he comes to me to see, hey, can I trust you? Yeah, good. Don't be in a hurry with this stuff. Good. You can trust me, and you get this little itch in here. Little, there. One thing I like about itching a horse as opposed to giving them treats is treats sometimes give them more anxiety, more concern. Itching tends to lower their arousal state, so it actually makes them a little bit more calm. There, good. Another little tip that I've seen, I used to make them put their head down from the halter. I'm gonna fix this a little bit. Say, no, don't lean on me. Good, good. He hears another horse call. I can sometimes draw the head down from a presence of the hand. So without a treat or anything, I just say, oh, there's a boundary there. Yeah, can you come around here? Can you take my hand? Draw him. There. Good boy. Okay, let's go get the rock. All right, this is the third and final horse, Divine. If you haven't met him before, he is our rock. I called him our rock last time, and then he proceeded to scream for his friends on the lunge line. But I still go by what I'm saying. I do think he is a rock. He has a very solid personality, and despite being just 3 years old, I think there's a lot of good characteristics in there. So let's test him out a little bit. We'll see what he does, and I'll show you a little bit of the flag work. When he came in, he had all this fungus on the sides of him. It's interesting, horses coming from quarantine, I've noticed, can get a lot of fungus, and you'd think a quarantine facility would be a very clean facility. I don't know if it's the quarantine facility or where they are getting it, but through the years importing horses, I've never had so many horses with fungus. So when they get here, we do our fungus protocol. We get them all better. Really good here. Even just how he walks here. This is kind of what I want to see out of Baloo, that he's relaxed, that he reaches equal, that he has good overtrack. This horse has a mega super quality walk. You can even just see glimpses of it on this little 10-meter circle. But he lets me in a vulnerable way into that side of his body. And then I can reach for a little bit of bend. I can step in, can yield the hind leg a little bit under. Good. And this is vulnerable for the horse, right? This is what Baloo guards so much against in fight or flight mode. And he's pretty good. He lets me in here to say, you can go down by my side. There, we're looking at his curiosity. He's looking there. I don't want to be, again, controlling of it. I want to see if I want to draw the energy back. I take that lead rope if he's available to come back, if he's available for an input to bend. Good. 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 Can I shape that energy? Good. And can I change it to the other direction? Good. Set it up and let him find it. Good. The more attached we are to providing the answers, sometimes the less opportunity they have to learn. Oh, good. And bending. I do want to talk about the horse's bloodlines. Interesting thing about this horse, he is related to Jovian on the mother line. Jovian just passed away. I've never had any Jovian blood in the barn, so this is a first for me. But come. Good, I can use that, drawing them towards me. Instead of pulling on the lead rope, can I get them to bend? This is kind of a new thing I've been playing with a little bit, learning from. Good. And Divine has proven to be our rock for the day. I want to test just a little bit with the flag. See if I get my flag and I provide a little bit of energy, how does he do with that? Good. Can I shape it? Can I yield the haunches or the shoulders? Shoulders away, hind leg under. Good. Come through. Good. Yeah, that's okay. It's not that they don't spook. It's that we can get them to trust us and to look to us when they do spook. And it's about moving and maneuvering and accessing the mind and the body. Good. Yeah, yield away. Good. Good. Yeah, good. A lot of my flag work, it's not so much desensitizing as much, can we shape the body? Can we influence things? Can we connect with them? Good boy. Super happy with him today. Okay, let's go through our criteria. So self-preservation. He has, I would say, less self-preservation than the others. You could say that he has less self-preservation or more trust. Maybe he's just more comfortable with me. I don't know where that came from. Maybe he has less trauma. Maybe he has a personality that's more trusting. Maybe he was handled more in the time frame in Europe that he grew up in. But he's definitely more trusting. I don't know that that yields for a better or worse outcome in the end. Some of the more difficult horses that I've had are a little bit easier in the beginning and then harder later on. Other ones like Baloo are hypersensitive and difficult and then get really connected to you once you form that bond. It's not so easy to determine. Attentiveness, I would say he's super attentive. There are times where he's paying attention externally, which is to be expected, and times where he's engaging with me. He's quite curious, although with this lowered energy level, I would say less curious than some of the others as to finding an answer. Sometimes we need a little bit more motivation. I saw a change with him today, but I would say less of a change than with the others, but simply because we're just coming out and working on things as they are. And softness, he has a huge level of softness just because of that presence, that like, I'm okay here. And that makes this personality like a very soft, you see him licking his lips. He's just a chill, soft presence, you know? That's really nice to be around. I want to kind of debrief here at the end and talk a little bit about myself and turning the lens on myself and my process. So one thing that I love about horsemanship is growth and learning and change and really becoming secure in not having the answers. That's really important to me. And like, here I am on YouTube, mic'd up, talking about what I know about horses. And what I can say with the most certainty is that you, and I'm talking to you, whoever's sitting there watching this video, you hold a lot of truth about horsemanship within yourself. And you probably have some unique insights that reveal a purity, a truth in horsemanship that are unique to you and that are beneficial to the horses that you're around. And so instead of deflecting those and saying, I'm an amateur, I don't know, I don't have the answers, I need to go find the answers, I want to encourage you to have more confidence. And horsemanship isn't about having the answers. It's about becoming curious yourself and figuring out, how can I do things better? How can I change? How can I become comfortable in this training process and working on myself? I'm super excited about this series on YouTube, and I'm kind of in the middle of that whole process with this too. I'm trying to figure out, where should I go with this? Should I give the horses scores on these different levels? Should I make this competitive? Should I make this informative? How do I do it? And that's where you guys come in. If you guys want to see something more specific, something different, if you have ideas of a format that could be really fun to watch and really educational, please let me know, comment down below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click the notifications bell. That means you'll get notified when I post the next video. And this one was quite a bit longer than episode 1, but I think that longer format provides more space for me to talk about what I'm truly doing with the horses. Coming up, I want to do a look into the breeding of the horses, talk about each one of them and what their characteristics I've seen already that are manifesting in some of the bloodlines that they have. I want to evaluate the gaits. I want to run with them and jog with them and talk about the hind leg and the trot and the walk and the canter and evaluate the gaits. I want to get them going under saddle, and I want to kind of take you through all of that vulnerability. And at the end of this, I'm going to be auctioning the 3 horses off. So stay tuned for that process. Follow along. There's going to be a ton more information coming, and thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.